Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Alfred Hitchcock Presents review. Today it is Season 1, Episode 39, Momentum, starring Skip Homeier as Dick Payne and Joanne Woodward as Beth Payne. And yes, we are finally there. This is the last episode of Season 1, and I have to say that for the most part, Season 1 goes out on a very high note. This is a very solid episode and a must-see for fans of the show, in my opinion. I do have a slight issue with the episode in that there are a lot of circumstances that you kind of just have to go with. They kind of just pop up so the plot can keep moving forward. But I'll get to that as I go through this otherwise very solid episode. So we start with our main character, Dick, and he's narrating. And it turns out he's been looking for jobs, but he hasn't gotten them. He lost out on another one. So we know he's pretty desperate for money. And then he goes home to his wife, Beth, our other main character. And it turns out they really don't have much money at all. And it turns out that Beth brings up a man named Burroughs, who Richard worked for in the past, who owes him money for previous work done that hasn't been collected yet. So Beth really wants Dick to go and get this money, but Dick is very reluctant for some reason to ask for this money. He says he doesn't want to get in a quarrel with this guy Burroughs, and they argue about it. So eventually Dick says he's determined and that he will get it that night. So Dick goes to a bar where he talks to the bartender who might have had some money for him, but that kind of falls through. And it seems like he's building up the courage to go see Burroughs. And later that day he does go to see Burroughs, but it turns out that someone is there and Burroughs has company. Now, I will say the episode does a great job in this scene of being very careful to not let us know who this is talking to Burroughs, as this is very important later on in the episode. So Dick's peeking through the window. He can't tell us what's going on, but he does see Burroughs give somebody some money and notices that he has quite a bit of it. And at this point, the person leaves. We still don't know who it is. So instead of Dick going and asking Burroughs, let me just say he's not one of the all-time smartest Alfred Hitchcock Presents characters. He decides he's going to basically break in or go in through the window. Not sure why the window was open either, but that's a whole another thing. I'll just go with it. So he decides he's going to go to where this cash is. It's in a box, and he decides he's just going to take the money. So this seems to be going okay until Burroughs actually comes in, and he has a gun on him, and he catches Dick, basically. He says he's going to call the police. But as he's dialing, Dick makes a move for the gun, and they kind of fight over it for a few seconds. And at this point, Burroughs is shot during the struggle, and we'll find out later that Burroughs won't survive. He's basically a goner. So now at this point, I would say Dick is in some trouble. So the next day, Beth finds Dick asleep, and when she wakes him up, he says he got the money. He says he got it from the bartender, even though we know that's not true. And Beth wants to talk. She wants to tell him something, but he won't let her talk. Another kind of coincidence. And then, of course, the door rings and interrupts her, and it's basically just the janitor with somebody looking at the apartment. It was a mislead. There's a lot of misleads in this episode. So at this point, then, Dick just all of a sudden tells Beth, we have to leave. I could be in a lot of trouble. And she doesn't really ask any more questions in this, which I thought was a bit odd. She must really trust Dick. She just says she'll pack her things and get ready to leave. So we go to the next scene, and they are ready to leave, but Dick says we're being watched as he sees a man outside. I'm not sure why he assumes the guy is watching him, but again, this kind of needs to happen for the plot to go forward. So he has this idea, which isn't a very good one. Once again, he's going to send Beth away, and he tells her to buy 2 bus tickets and that he'll follow when he thinks it's safe as soon as he can. So Beth leaves, and when Dick goes outside, he sees that the man is still there. This turns out to be yet another mislead. Like I said, probably a few too many misleads, but I guess if you just go with it, it's fine. So at this point, another man comes by, basically as Dick's getting ready to leave. And at this point, Payne must think he's a police officer because he's very reluctant to let the guy in. And at this point, Dick has a gun as well, and again there's a struggle and the gun goes off, and this time it is basically Dick that is shot, and then we find out the man was from the finance company, and he just wanted to collect some of the debts that were owed, I guess. So at this point, Payne, I think, locks that guy up somewhere, and he's now on the move, and he's also shot, which isn't very good. He seems to be struggling physically, and he does get in this taxi, and basically he's going to the bus station, and this is a good scene filled with tension, I have to say. Then we get a short scene with Beth buying the tickets and basically waiting, and she seems concerned for good reason. Then we go back to the taxi, and there's a news bulletin about how Dick is basically wanted. So he pulls out a gun on the taxi driver, even though the driver wouldn't really know for sure that he was the guy in question. I guess he just decides to, at this point, just let the guy know. So he basically leaves the driver and takes the cab. At this point. So he does actually make it to the bus station, but we can tell Dick's not doing well. He actually falls down at one point. He can barely walk anymore. And he does make it to see Beth. As it turns out, their bus is a little late, and as they're getting ready to leave, he basically collapses, and her purse falls, and a lot of money falls out of it. And he says, "Where'd you get the money?" And Beth says she got it from Burroughs. She asked him for it because she knew Dick wouldn't. So basically, it was Beth that was in the house all the time, and she already had the money, so Dick didn't need to go through any of that. So Dick now knows this, but it's pretty much too late because it doesn't look like Dick is going to make it, and I don't believe he does. So like I said, a very solid episode, a great twist, but you have to buy into a lot of plot elements that just kind of happen for convenience to make it work. But I do think it's one of the more memorable episodes of the season, and it's very well acted by the two lead actors. So overall, I'm going to give Momentum a 4 out of 5. Definitely a must-see episode with a great twist and a good ending to the first season of the show. So 4 out of 5 for Momentum. And as always, thank you very much for watching.